Hello, how's everyone doing? Chris, EHS, physical therapy, chiropractic as well.
Jake over at Essential Motion Spine and Sport.
We got Jake right here. We wanted to cover a couple things today. Well, one main thing, right? So it's a common misconception, and we've gone through this many times with people, and there's the myth still gets through. It's still like permeates through low back injuries that, well, of course I can't squat again. Squatting would be bad for me, right? So that, and, well, what if someone says, well, no, I still like to squat, but what do I do when I have pain in my low back when I squat? So those are two different things. One thing is where someone's so, fearful or has been told wrong information.
Yeah.
The other one is, okay, I have some low back pain, maybe even into, like, say, glute or upper hamstring, and I want to get back to doing things, moving, but I do have a little bit of, it increases some pain when I do it. Yeah. What does that mean? What should I change? How do I get back to doing things?
Yeah. So I think it's important to know that, like, pain in and of itself is just a signal. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything is wrong or that you're hurting anything anymore.
Right.
In fact, during the rehab or returning from an injury, pain is going to be pretty much expected, right, Chris?
Yep.
So,
if you have some, say it's a 3 or 4, right in the middle of the back, I do a certain thing, I bend over, pick something up, first thing in the morning, I stand up, I rise, even if it's lifting weights or during the recovery process, an increase followed quickly by a no worse, it comes right back down, is not a worse thing. It's not a red light, it's a yellow light. It's something to be cautious of, something to keep some mental, be aware of. Where did I feel it? What happened? But it's not a worse thing. It's not an automatic stop.
No. And then it's important, like Chris mentioned, being fearful of a movement, that will affect your performance and healing process. Mm-hmm. So go in with the expectation that, this might be difficult, but you're going to try to work through it. You're going to pay attention to how your body responds to the movement, responds to the loads. And then from there, you can either progress whatever we're doing or regress, come down lower, start smaller, which is perfectly fine. Yep. Each person is going to be, we're going to catch them at different parts of their recovery.
Yeah, there's no one thing that's going to be right for everybody on this. And squatting doesn't have to be
with
a
weights.
Barbell. It doesn't have to be this barbell back squat that's only like, it's got to look like that. There's other ways. That is one way to squat. That's not the only way to perform a squat. So that is one thing that's important to understand. We can regress that force and go with just, starting with just body weight, where we're just working on, maybe I'll put a chair behind me, and I'm just going to sit into a chair and then come back up. That's a squat. Even though people don't think it's a squat, I can never squat again. Well, do you get up from a chair? Well, then you did a squat. Do you sit down in the toilet and come back up? That's a squat.
So if you have a disc herniation currently and you're going through this, you're squatting throughout the day without even realizing it.
Yep.
And
because it probably feels better than bending, to pick something up. It's probably better for you to say, okay, I'm going to keep myself straight here. I'm going to come get something like this rather than like that. So you're already doing it naturally. And I'm not saying the one is better or worse.
No.
You just have already kind of found it naturally that it feels better to keep your back kind of locked into a little bit of a neutral posture.
And it's going to take time, almost like weight training. You're not, if you go do a whole bunch of curls once, you're not going to see big biceps. But if you do it consistently over 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to see that difference. You'll start to see that growth. Same thing with a low back injury. As you expose yourself to those movements, the different squats, the different loads, you're going to get stronger and you're going to get more resilient, pain-free with those movements. So should we just go through like a couple
let's say someone. So first off, the most important thing is that in general or in its true form, performing a squat is not bad for you. You're thinking of it like putting a bunch of weight on a bar and like all the load, but there's other things that you do, functionally with moving to get things that is a squat. So that's the first thing. Second thing, now let's say you want to, I want to return to some of these things. I like lifting weights. I want to be strong again. Yep. I want to be confident. I want to have some confidence and ability in my body. And the only way to do that is to actually get back to doing these things, not be afraid of them, but actually do them appropriately, correctly, with the right loads and the right, coaching and guidance. Let's go through a progression of what would be, let's start from very, very low load and then kind of work our way up. And then there's anywhere along that path, if you hit a plateau or a stumbling block, that kind of bothers me, and it's staying, it's actually truly a worsening, or it's just a little bit too sore, then you could right back onto the next rung down. Yeah. So it's a progression ladder.
Perfect.
Where would you start with just regular,
Should we start with a chair, just like a supporting?
Yeah. Either that or TRX bands.
Something to support yourself So even if it's just like a door hinge or a doorway, that perfectly is that. So like a sit to stand out of the chair might be a perfect.
Yep. Not using hands. Just sit to stand out of the chair.
And it can be as easy as
Yep.
putting your chest up and just standing up from a chair, coming back down.
Yep.
That could be.
That's a body weight squat. Ooh,
Yeah.
just up. Be careful. You're squatting. Be careful.
Don't want to hurt my back.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Another thing you could do is just come into a supported one. If you need the support, or if you can just go body weight, it doesn't matter. But you can support yourself, come down into that squat position
And
again.
that would be even a lower level than the first one.
Yeah, because you can help
now
yourself
your
up.
hands can help you. So
Yeah.
either that, or if you have some kind of like suspension trainer system, and a lot of gyms and places that they have this. He's gonna come back now. He can use his arms to kind of help him get back up again. He's squatting. He's got good. Form. I'm gonna grab the camera.
Yeah. These are different low-level variations that you can try. And as these get easier and easier, you can progress the loads. So once you're done the TRX, you can go just straight to body weight. So you can do something simple like just an air squat. And then from here, you can start to grab weights. So you can hold.
Just hold a plate, or grab a dumbbell or a kettlebell over here.
Yeah, let's start smaller.
Yeah. Grab a 5 or 7 pound dumbbell.
Here's 7 pounds. You're just adding a little bit of body weight just to make it a little bit harder.
That's kind of in a goblet
Yeah.
way. So from the side, you see low back is staying locked in. No trouble
You can play
there.
around before you hold that
Yep.
too, because that'll
Yep. Add
change.
more abs. Add more core work to it.
Yep.
Oh, that's the other thing. Squatting, right? And these kind of exercises are considered core strengthening.
Yeah, you need the core.
It does not have to just be like, oh, all I do is planks and I do these weird, like, no. And when you're having your body weight in contact with the ground and you're holding your abs and your core tight to be able to do those things,
Yeah.
you are working the core.
Right.
Yep.
So we can change that.
So don't, yeah, that's why, I got to go to physical therapy, and they said, you got to do core work. Oh, but I can't squat. That's the opposite. I mean, it is a core workout.
Yeah. And you can grab a heavier kettlebell or something, hold it out in front of you.
Now he's doing, that's just a
do
kettlebell squat that
Squat
way.
like that. You can do the same
In the goblet,
squat.
that kicks the abs in a little bit more.
The same offset squat.
Position. Yep. You can do an offset squat. Just let it hang in one arm. So then now he has to counteract with his abs so it doesn't pull him over to one side. So he's working core, and he's working the lower extremities and the low back.
Yep.
So now he's going to do like a suitcase. He's going to pick up a heavy. So then again, what if you had to pick up a suitcase from the ground? That's a suitcase squat. So now he's squatting down. He's going to pick something up off the ground and picks up. Yeah, there we go. Very functional movement. And walks. Yeah, you can walk with it on your one arm. Good one. That farmer carry was a good idea too. It can be. We can change the angle of the feet. We could do 1 foot a little bit further forward. 1 foot. Oh, sorry, I can't. Not looking at anybody. Yeah, we could do one. A little bit squats with different angles. Yep. That lunge is kind of like a squat.
That makes it a little bit harder because you have to work on more balance. Yeah.
And then you could elevate the heels. You could elevate the toes. There's all kinds of things you could do to get the squatting down. But just use those as that progression. We talked about basically, start with some body weight or even less than body weight by having your arms help you, and then slowly come up the chain with. Actually do a front squat with the dumbbell with the barbell too.
Yeah. And as it gets
because the
easier-
barbell will change the angle of the barbell on the front for the back will change. So then now he's going to a front squat. All right, so he's holding the weight on the front of the top of the shoulders. Get a different angle of that, Jake. It's nice. Yep, on the top of the shoulders there's a front squat. That kicks in the quads and the core a little bit more. Right, so this is one you don't typically see or do all that often. Maybe we do some of these and then can rack it, and then eventually you can get back to like the very standard barbell back squat. But again, if that one starts to turn pain on in the lower back, that remains and stays a little bit worse. You're like, ooh, no, I'm just not quite ready for that. I don't like the way that feels. I don't like the way it, you know your body best. If you don't like the way it feels on loads, then don't do those yet and go back to the ones where you're hanging on to dumbbells or kettlebells at your side.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with starting at the lower tiers and slowly building up to the bigger weights.
I do a lot of kettlebell goblet
kettlebell
squats
stuff's
where
awesome.
you hold it right here by your chest and you come down. Kettlebell goblets are a good one to use, and you can do a lot of high reps, 15, 20, 25, 30 reps, and then just, you build the strength, you build the core, you build the legs. So
just like anything, you can do it.
There we go.
Repetition, consistency.
Get back to
and
squatting.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep.